Hello then, welcome back to Sweden. So far we've been watching as France is having fun with Austria. They are more or less being completely decimated. We still haven't fought a single battle, although our vassals have taken the liberty of, well, Teuton, Novgorod. They are going the wrong direction. I was hoping they would fight Muscowy because we declared war on them. We also took down Peskov, which was a release from Muscowy thanks to Siberia, I would presume. And it's going to be interesting to see if Muscowy can continue to live from what they have up here, but who knows. For now, however, we're going to continue where we left off with, well, more conquest, more or less. I'm going to be gambling here on basically having the Polish or, well, Hansa here join a coalition, or Polish or Lithuanians join a coalition, so I can actually take that down to Hansa. Savoy accepted peace with France, so I will be forced to give money, cede Cuneo. So basically this entire war was a war for one province, Cuneo. And because of that, the good old buddies that we have in Austria got crushed. Now, I'm actually really tempted to just go ahead and declare war on the Hansa. And the reason for that's really simple. I can declare war on them, they are vulnerable, and I can potentially just do this too. Just go straight for Pomerania. Go annex, get rid of them once and for all. That could also definitely work here. The alliance is most likely going to be broken. Austria has so much depth that I think I can siege them before anything happens. So I think we're just going to, as a first step here, take down Pomerania once and for all. The Hansa is already in a coalition, so I don't have to worry about them. But granted, this is again one of those really risky maneuvers that could definitely backfire if Austria decides to join in, which is a possibility, but they lost their alliance, so I would presume that to be a no problem at all. The only real issue that I have here is that I need to ally myself with Lüneburg, hopefully soon, but that shouldn't be an issue. I'll go for just annexing Pomerania. I think it'll just be the easier choice. I could hand one province over to Teutons, but we'll have to see. And I probably have to march north now to help out with the rebels and Muscovy, so that's fairly alright. We'll send this army. We'll basically just send everything that we don't need to siege up there to solve the rebel issue and of course deal with Muscovy. So that should be fairly alright. We also last time vassalized East Frisia peacefully, and I think we're just going to continue vassalizing Whole Roman Empire minors like Lüneburg. That is actually something that we can do potentially. And I guess it's time for us to create an army for our nation. We do have a lot of money though, so I guess I should probably consider getting myself into a position where I could potentially, how should I put this? No, we're not going to dissolve that alliance just yet. Putting myself into a position where I could, well, use things to my advantage. That's basically the gist of it. And again here, the Austrians will not accept if I were to declare war on the Hansa right now. So I should probably just fabricate a claim on Mecklenburg, so I can take Holstein and Mecklenburg in this first war. And again, it will most likely spark some problems all around, so I think we're just going to wait with that. Lüneburg will most likely hate my guts for annexing Pomerania, to be perfectly honest, so I would prefer it if I could get the alliance up and running before that, but since we are at war, they don't really seem to be too keen on that idea, so we'll have to see. For now, however, we'll deal with the rebels, and I'll allow Novgorod to fight the war for Muscovy, more or less. I'll probably help a little bit myself, but not too much, to be perfectly honest. So we'll sit back and see what happens here, more or less. So the war with Pomerania is basically over here, but the question is, do I want to just go for a straight out annexation here? It would probably just be the easier choice, and again, I'm a little bit unsure if I take it or give it to Teutons, that they might hand it over to someone else. Lüneburg will be a little bit pissed for doing this, but again, they won't give me an alliance unless the war's over anyways. If I were to go for vassalization here, I'm a little bit unsure how I would do in terms of aggressive expansion, but I'll get 25%, well, deposit if you will. But I think we'll just go for a full annexation here. It's just a simpler choice, and again, I secure some of the coastline. That's the important facet here. Again, it'll be harder to get Lüneburg up to the relation that I need, but other than that, it should be perfectly alright. Worst case scenario, Brandenburg joins coalition against me, but let's face it, Brunswick, Thuringia, these are the ones that could join a coalition against me. It's basically not too much or too big of an area right now, but it's still kind of worrisome, all things considered, So we'll have to see how we'll handle that in the future. But here we go. As you can see, the war against Muscowy is going fairly well. But I just completed the first siege, which should have been probably done ages ago, to be perfectly honest. But we're making progress here, and that's what counts. And I think I'm probably just going to, after I've sieged this area, I'm probably just going to leave most of the sieging over to Novgorod to do it for me. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. But right now, Novgorod is definitely being really helpful here, more or less. So we'll have to see how we'll do in terms of annexing them later due to religion. I might have to go with religious ideas just so I can make sure I can actually annex the land. But I do have a fairly good religious unity that I can use for, well, potential problems, if you will. Muscowy and Vladimir has been sieged here, so that's wonderful. That means I can actually pull them back home, stop the problems, if you will. And as you can see, I've also created another army, a 12k army here. That's a 624. They're supposed to be 12 for 8, so it's basically just a half regular army, if you will. And I'm probably going to refine these armies too later also to make them, well, proper armies, if you will. But for the time being, we'll just sit by here and see what happens. Not really much else I can or will do in this case. And of course, we're going to be looking for wars with Lithuania and Poland as more or less as soon as we can. And let's just be honest here, if I am lucky and manage to drag the Hansa through a war to take some land, that would be wonderful. But I'm a little bit surprised that usually the AI is so trigger happy about joining coalitions against you that it's hard to explain. But in this game, they've kind of been careful. I have no idea if it's just because I have so many, rather that I have 2 very big vassals to support me. It could of course be that, but who knows. And again, I'm just trying to keep Bohemia and Austria happy about me, because again, they're kind of the 2 big dogs in the area, and unless I have to fight them, I'll try to not have it happen, so to speak. I don't need 1 prestige point a year. That's not going to be overly helpful, so we're just going to ignore that. But as you can see here, the war with Muscowy is more or less just going as one would expect. They are being crushed, and I don't really have any resistance from them anymore. So, as I said, I'll try and get Lüneburg here annexed or vassalized, if you will, in a peaceful manner. Shouldn't be too long if once of course, Muscovy war is over. So we'll see what happens to a coalition, but the Baltic coastline is almost ours. We just need to take out the Hansa, and if I then continue to eat up the whole Roman Empire princes, if you will, then it should definitely be possible to beat Austria here. We'll see how it goes. Well, I did not pay attention here and almost got myself Lithuanian revolt on my hands. I had to improve, or basically go up on the autonomy in both the provinces, which is not the best thing ever. But I had to do it just to make sure that I didn't suddenly get a incredibly big revolt on my hands. So, not the best, way to solve things ever, but it was kind of necessary here to make sure that I actually survived the situation. So, not too much to do there. And other than that, we'll just keep on with Muscovy here. I have 1 unit that's sieging, but let's face it, it should more or less be straightforward here to win. And I'll wait until these guys have calmed down before I do any more conversions. So we'll just wait here and see what happens. So Bohemia has actually gotten themselves into war here with Thuringia, Frankfurt and Trier. Let's face it, it's a really small war, and if Bohemia actually goes for an annexation of Thuringia here, I would actually be really happy, because that means a stronger Bohemia. So, although the war isn't really over just yet with Muscovy, it could take more, we're probably just going to go ahead here and hand everything over to Novgorod. And the goal here will be very, very simple in terms of the peace deal with Novgorod. Give Novgorod everything they have claim to, so I can actually core it quicker. And I'll probably have to send an army up here basically to keep things under control, if you will. And I think I'm just going to wait with Muscowy, because it's just so high base tax that Novgorod will have trouble with coring everything in this first war, if you will. So Novgorod has claims to 3 south and basically everything north. So let's go ahead and make a peace deal here. 3 south and everything north. That will work. The 34 aggressive expansion will mostly be with, as you can see, the area here, which is not surprising. and I'm happy with that. It's perfectly alright. So let's go for War Operation 2, one like that. So I'll take some money then. It's perfectly alright. I can then build my armies, etc. Use mercenaries if I want to. So we'll go with this deal. It could potentially create some ridiculous overextension for Novgorod, but I think it will be fine. And basically that means that it's one more war and then there's no more Muscovy, probably. So there we go, call to arms. Muscovy has accepted our generous peace offer. And since we do now have the opportunity to ally Lernenberg, we're going to offer that alliance, because we can. So there we go, Lernenberg accepted our alliance, and we're going to accept the war. Because that postpones the looming disaster, thanks to, I think, the fact that I have very little manpower, or less than 25%. So I'm kind of just juggling everything around right now. But as I said, I'll probably have to send some armies up to Novgorod to help with potential rebels in the future. So I have to keep my eyes open for that. But Muscovy is now... they're basically done for, I would think. And Novgorod can just consolidate their own power. And funnily enough here, peasants popped up right away. So I'm just going to ignore the peasants. I'm just going to deal with any potential... I'm making enough money to actually try and make a mercenary army with the pure goal of dealing with peasants. So I'm going to do that just because I need to help Novgorod out here. And also at the same time recover some manpower. If I were to declare war on the Hansa now, what would Austria do? Austria would join in, so we're not going to do that, of course. But I'm going to allow Lithuanian patriots again to just calm down, and I'm going to be using, as I said, the mercenary army here to fight the rebels and everything that will pop up in Novgorod. But they're definitely starting to get a lot stronger than before. Poland is currently through until 61, 65 with Lithuania, so I still have plenty of time here to prepare for the next war. Again, I'm probably just going to keep on feeding Teutonic Order and Novgorod most of the provinces. I'm probably going to take some of the northern ones here myself, but I feel it's just easier to give them provinces rather than do anything myself. And as you can see, even with a 12,000 man mercenary I'm running around, I'll still be more than capable here of well, actually dealing with the day-to-day problems, if you will, money-wise. So that's great. But yeah, for the time being, we'll just keep on doing what we have been doing, and I'll see how this all pans out. Should be fairly interesting, so to speak. But the Hansa are definitely losing their war, so it'll be interesting to see how well truces will be in that area. So, do you actually want to transfer trade power to me? Will you get benefits to relation? Yeah, transfer trade power too. So, they actually like that, which is surprisingly enough, but they do. So, I guess we might as well just proclaim a guarantee here, 15th of February, basically get relations up so I can vassalize them. And that's basically it. That's the goal here. Then we're going to most likely start the annexation of both Lernenberg and East Frisia at the same time, since the Holy Roman Empire will not be too fond of that. So that should work. If I manage to pick up any more princes, like Brunswick for instance, that would be good too. But it's kind of it's doubtful I'll be able to do that. But I can pick up Brunswick if I go ahead and try here. And with that in mind, it's probably interesting to try and just pick up as many vassals here within the Holy Roman Empire that I can. Again, I can get Hesse, I can get Brunswick, and if I just get these four nations peacefully, then we also have a lot more firepower to have against Austria. So I think I'm actually going after Hanover and Hesse as well, and then I'll probably, well, start annexing them because it would be helpful. So I'll see if I can actually help with the problem that is the peasants, and I'll see what else happens here. But I think we're nearing the end of this episode, and we'll just have to see how things go in the future. So I managed to actually trap the peasants here into them to attacking me with terrain and crossing. What the hell? Was I just attacked by a Bohemian army? Oh, joking me? Was I attacked there by a Bohemian army? That's my question. It seems like it was a Bohemian army, and it seems like it attacked me. Doesn't matter. We'll send gifts to these guys, and we'll set up the vassalization. And that, I think, is the last thing we'll do today. They must be at peace, so yeah, we're getting closer. At least Pomeranian is also an accepted culture now. But I think I'm actually going to try and get Brunswick and Hesse into the fold as well. It should be possible if I just, well, play this in a peaceful manner. And again, if I get these two, then eating the whole Roman Empire will just be a piece of cake, if you will. So yeah, it should be interesting. And of course, I'll try and help Novgorod. But we're going to leave it here. We made a lot of progress, I would say. We basically have a Swedish Russia, if you will, or Swedish early Russia. And it's going to be interesting to see how this works out in the future with the Hands and everything. But right now, I dare say that Austria is fairly weak. They're currently at war with Portugal and everyone too. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. But Spain is definitely not a big threat here at all. Portugal has won a war against them. Granada has lost one. But it still seems like Spain is just too fractured to actually be able to mount any resistance here. But as I said, we're going to leave it here. Thank you for watching. Please have a comment, praise, criticism, anything you feel like, and I'll see you around next time. Bye!